Okay, now after the game, let's get into my preseason predictions. Which, man, I wish I could show y'all the thing, but I don't know. We're going to do straight up just camera. Straight up camera. But I actually have my phone here, actually. It'll all work. So let's get my preseason predictions, right? I had a Super Bowl 60 matchup. My Super Bowl 60 matchup was going to be the Ravens versus Lions. And I had the Lions winning it 30-26. Obviously, it was Seattle Patriots, and Seattle won 29-13. But let me explain y'all, right? I had the Ravens because most everyone did, I'll be honest. And it's not even because of that. I didn't have it because everyone had it. But I was like, the Ravens, they're coming back. I think Lamar's going to be great. I think the defense is going to be better. And it was the complete opposite for some reason. The defense did worse. The offense was okay. Todd Monken was okay. They didn't run a lot of plays with Derrick Henry, and that was a whole controversy on that. John Harbaugh got fired. And who did they sign? They just, was it Gus? The new coach? He was the Chargers DC. Let me actually search that up. No. Ravens head coach. Something Minter. Jesse Minter? Right? Yeah, there you go. I know it was somebody. I was like, all right. Oh, you guys can't see. Jesse Minter. I remember him. Oh, yeah, there you go. Him. This guy. He hired the head coach. So the Ravens, I don't know, they just fell. And then the Lions, again, they just weren't as good as last year. The division was hard, Green Bay, then the Bears, those are the two teams that made it from that division, not the Lions. They did not make the playoffs. So maybe next year they'll make it, but I don't know, it just wasn't the same really. Their offense wasn't the same as Dan Campbell became offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson left, so the offense wasn't the same. The defense was good, still good, but I think the offense just different play caller, and that's not Dan Campbell's specialty, I guess. It's more of just the regular CEO head coach. So yeah, sucks they didn't make it, but the other two teams made it. We all know Seattle were formidable, and the Patriots. MVP, I had Joe Burrow, and obviously he got injured. Joe Flacco came in there. And then he came back later in the season, but it was already too late. Obviously, he wasn't going to win MVP. And the actual MVP was Stafford, which, yeah, let's look at the stats actually. Whoa. Si te me pregunta, te tengo mucha noia. Mañana tengo otra. Stats. Not postseason, regular season. Yep, here we go. Stafford. Can y'all see that? Over here for y'all. Stafford. 4,000 defense was 4,707 yards, 65 completion percentage, 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 71 QBR. Yeah, obviously not mad that he won it. A lot of people said Drake May, but then Drake May. What was their comparison? 31-8. Also pretty good. And QBR 77. He actually had a higher one, and he had a higher completion percentage. But people were giving him that less yards, and they were giving him that it was a weaker schedule. And then based on how it was on this playoffs, I mean, are they really wrong? I don't think so. So, yeah. Jamar Chase, yeah. I think he actually had a good chance, though. I don't know. Was he top 3? I think he was top 3 in receiving yards. Oh, he's top 4 with 1,412. And that's with like 3 different quarterbacks or 2. I think it was Joe, Jake Browning, and then Joe Flacco. So 3 quarterbacks, and he was still in the top 4. And Joe Flacco was thinking the football. Don't get me wrong, and he had 8 touchdowns, 125 catches. So he still could have been in there, but the season that Jaxon Smith-Njigba had, winning the Super Bowl, he had 119 receptions. So he had it on less receptions, on less targets, had more yards. He was averaging 100 yards per game. Only had 3. He had 528 yak. Even look at Puka. Puka could have been in there. And for me, I like Puka better than Jackson. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I think Njigba is the best route runner in the NFL, and he's better route runner than Puka. But look at Puka, bro. He's in there. And I just like Puka's. What I like from Puka is his physicality. Like, I like route running receivers more. But, like, I don't know, bro. What Puka just stands out for me is that he's not his strength, but he can still route run. And just his physicality that he has, it just makes me like, I like this dude. But that was just my opinion. That was just me. But I'm not mad that Jaxon Smith-Njigba won it. That's cool. You know, he could win it. He can do whatever he wants, brother. And then, so yeah, I'm not mad that he won it. But I predicted Jamar, and it is what it is. And then Defensive Player of the Year, I picked Fred. Fred obviously broke his leg versus Tampa Bay. I think it was his right leg. I think it was. And he was going to come back for the NFC Championship. But obviously, that didn't happen because we didn't make it. But the one who actually did win it was Myles Garrett. And obviously, well deserved, bro. He had 23 sacks, which is the new NFL record. 23 sacks. He did it on the Browns. And the Browns were, I think, top 10 defense. He had 23 sacks. He had 43 solo tackles, which is pretty high ranked. He had 60 total tackles, pretty high rank, as we could see. Can y'all see that? Like, yeah. 33 tackles for loss, 1 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles. So, and then just with the 23 sacks, bro. With the 23 sacks, it was yeah. So I don't even well deserved. I think it's the second one. I think he won it last year, didn't he? I forgot, but it's the second one, and well deserved by Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Remember, I had Travis Hunter and Cam Ward. Travis Hunter got injured. I forgot which season, but he got injured, and then Cam Ward just didn't really live up to what I thought he could be at Tennessee. But then Tennessee was just garbage. So, yeah. But, oh my God. McMillan won it. I forgot to say his first name. Terratoa, I think it's Terratoa. Anyways, he was what? 14? Can y'all see that? Yeah, 14 in the NFL in receiving yards. He had 1,014 on 122 targets on 70 catches. So 70 catches on 122 targets. 7 touchdowns. Not bad. I think he helped Bryce Young develop, and he was just number 1. So that was the whole thing. And that's cool. I'm not against that. Defensive Rookie of the Year, have Abdul Carter. He just didn't live up with the Giants. I don't even know how much sacks he had. But he just, yeah, I think and then with that story he had that he was sleeping in meetings, that didn't help him, blah, blah, blah. Who did win was Carson Schwessinger. And to be honest, I didn't know a lot about the guy. But look, he's top 6 in total tackles as a rookie, so that's pretty good. How many sacks did he have? He had 2.5, which middle linebacker is not bad. Solo, he had 67, not bad. So that was good. I would have said Nick Amanwari. That would have been my guy for Defensive Player of the Year. Just how he's so versatile on that Seahawks defense. He can play nickel. He's a big nickel. Play safety. He could blitz. He's a good pass rusher for a defensive back. Like, I would have picked him. He would have been my choice, but whatever. I don't know. I'm not against Carson. I didn't really see him play. I didn't see Carson play like that. I was just watching the Browns, but I saw Nick Amanwari play multiple times, and that guy to me is a baller, and he's a Defensive Rookie of the Year. But whatever. I would have picked him. I would have picked Nick Amanwari. And then Comeback Player of the Year had Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously, he did not win. I think because he actually did good, though. I think he had he had a number of sacks. Let me go check. Yeah, see, he was top 4 in sacks. He had 14.5 sacks. So I wasn't far off. I knew he was going to be good. I was like, he's going to come back to Detroit. He's going to be good. But who actually won it was CMC. And CMC, he didn't have like the most yards, but he was 8 with 1,200. But he had a lot of passing. I mean, he had a lot of receiving yards. for a running back. He was 23. He had 924 for a running back. He's like the only one on this list. Everyone else is wide receiver or tight end. Wide receiver or tight end. So, shout out my boy Christian. He didn't get injured this year, and he was carrying us. Shout out Christian McCaffrey. I was trying to see him my NFL experience, but there were so many people there. But I'm not mad at this pick either. And then the one I actually got right, Mike Vrabel. I said Mike Vrabel. Let me put out a picture of Mike Vrabel. He's got to be here somewhere. See, they're like, because oh no offense, I don't want to see him losing, right? That sucks for him, but he's got to be here. Where are you, Mike? Bro, I just dead ass just want a picture of Mike Vrabel, bro. Why is there no pictures of him? Come on. Where is he? Mike, where are you? Whatever then. Okay, I just go somewhere else. Bro, why does this man keep texting me? Damn, they literally have no pics of Mike Vrabel. It's crazy, but he's gotta be somewhere around here. What if I just search up Mike Vrabel? Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel lover. I'm just gonna go on Google and search him up, and then have him as background picture. Yeah, Mike Vrabel. There we go, brother. Woo, that's Mike Vrabel right there. Anyways, Mike Vrabel, he did a good job. Okay, I had him winning Coach of the Year, and this was my explanation. Look, I wrote down, I was like, Vrabel back from coaching hiatus, back with old team. I expect him to improve the team. Could be a dark horse playoff team, but I believe, even if they're not, I said I believe they will be. There will be improvement. Give me Vrabes Coach of the Year. Am I not a prediction? Am I not a wizard? No, just the one I get right, and I'm a wizard. But no, but yeah, I deserved. I'm gonna get into why I think another guy actually should have won it too. But hey, I'm not getting any credit away. I said Mike Vrabel, and he did. You know, the team was 4-13 last year. They got a bunch of new players. They got like 30 new players, and he took them to the Super Bowl. He improved Drake May. They got into the Super Bowl. They lost, but it's literally his first year as the head coach, and he turned around this team to go to the Super Bowl already. So no debate here that he shouldn't have won or whatever. Great. And I predicted that. I said, look, dark horse playoff team. And they went all the way to the Super Bowl. Toot my own horn. I guess I'm right. But honestly, I would have voted for Kyle Shanahan. And that's not being because I'm a Niner fan. Like, Kyle Shanahan, bro, should have won. He could have won Coach of the Year. If he would have won, I would have been like, yeah, I would have voted for him because, bro, the Niners, we were so injury deprived, bro. So injury rattled. We had nobody. We had Nick Bosa down. We had Fred Warner down. We had our 7th string linebackers playing versus the Seahawks. 7th string linebacker. We had Eric Hendricks out there. We got from the practice squad 3 weeks before the game. We had Brock Purdy in and out. George Kittle he was in and out, but then he had a calf strain towards Achilles versus the Eagles. We had receivers in and out. We had Ricky in and out. We had Bryce Huff playing the opposite side of who was the other guy, Curtis Robinson. We were so injury railed, so injury like we shouldn't even have got to where we were in the divisional. We were cooking. He should have been Coach of the Year, in my opinion. Coach Shanahan could do, and that's what frustrates me every year. That we're such a good team, and we just can't pull it, bruh. And it pissed me off. But whatever. I would have given it to Kyle Shanahan. And then, it's my last three things. So, new playoff teams, right? I said for new playoff teams, I expected Titans, Niners, Bengals, Pats. The Titans, obviously, I thought it was going to be good. And obviously, South was weak. Turns out they were not weak. Turns out Jaguar and Houston and the Colts, remember, all three of them until the Daniel Jones injury and they went down. But all three of them were great this year for a certain point, and then Titans were not. They got a new coach. They got Robert Saleh now. And who's that? They hired someone, and how Brian Dable is our offensive coordinator. So I expect Cam Moore to do better next year. But this year, my prediction was wrong. I thought maybe Titans could do something, but they did not. Niners. We did. We made the playoffs. I knew we were going to make it. And like I said, I remember on my thing, I said injuries, inconsistency last year. We should return that. I said we should expect consistency this year. And we did. But same injuries. Shouldn't have been where we were at. I said solid DC. I expect us to be in contention again. We were. He was a great DC with the 7th string linebackers. He was taking us to the divisional round. God, I'm so sad to see him go. But 7th string linebackers and we go to divisional. So, my gosh, bro. We would be good if we didn't have so many injuries. Whatever. So, that was right. And then Bengals, yeah, their defense was just trash. And then Joe Burrow got injured again and the whole thing. So, yeah. I should have made maybe next year I'm going to predict that they won't make it and then they're going to make it for some reason. I just be like that. And then I said Patriots, dark horse playoff team, and obviously made it to Super Bowl. So, 2 out of 4, not bad. Not bad. And then drop-off teams, right? I said teams that were in the playoffs last year that I believe will not be in it this year. I said what did I say? Vikings. I said Vikings and Broncos. So let's talk about it. That's what I was going to talk about, Vikings. Okay, I said J.J. McCarthy is basically a rook because it was the second season. He got injured. His first season he didn't play. So this was basically it was the second season in the NFL, but his first season being a starter. And to be honest, never necessarily been a fan. He was okay to me in college. He does have Jettas, which obviously helps, but he can also drag him down. We'll see. Chat. I'm not far. Okay, I don't get everything right, but bro, there's some takes. There, a wrong clock is right twice a day, brother. I told y'all, right? I never liked Jacob Carr. No offense. And that's what I'm talking about Sam Darnold. I think they should have kept Sam Darnold because I was never a believer in J.J. McCarthy. I just don't. I saw him in college. I saw him in Michigan. I was like, they run the ball. They're so run heavy. Like, he's, I want to say he's a game manager because the managers actually have a purpose, right? But I was like, he just throws the ball. He just needed him to throw the ball. I didn't see top 10 pick. I didn't see any of that in him. I was like, I don't see it. He's okay, but I want to do a top 10 draft pick on him. I just want to see that. And then I remember all the hype that he did in the first game, the first week of the season, Monday Night Football, when they beat the Bears. They came back and beat the Bears. The first 3 quarters, he was garbage. In the fourth quarter, he came back, and that's all of a sudden, this guy's a guy. He knows what he's doing. I was like, just because of one comeback? Are you kidding me? One comeback. He's going to base it off one comeback. The first 3 quarters, he was garbage. And I think it was like 2 weeks later against Atlanta, garbage. It would just keep happening. And then he maybe do one comeback. He's like, he's a guy. And I was like, I just knew it, bro. But what about the other quarters? He's not playing well. He's not good. He's not that good. I don't see it. And no offense, but I still don't see it. I think I'm not Nostradamus or anything, but I saw it. I was like, he's just not that good. I don't see it. And look, and now people are going, well, they went from one side. They went from he's going to be a guy to now he's a bust. This is his first year starting, bro. Let's pipe down. Let's see what he could do. I'm gonna give him 2 more years with this Kevin O'Connell. Okay, Kevin O'Connell, we've seen he can help quarterbacks. He can progress. What's it called? He can develop quarterbacks. What I was looking for. He can develop them. So just give him another year. I'm gonna give him 2 more years. Especially he's a 10 top pick. They fired Mensa, so I don't know what they're gonna do about that. But let's see. I give him 2 more years to improve, and then we'll see, right? But I've just never been a fan. I've never been a fan of him, but I'm gonna give him 2 more. I'll give him 2 more years to develop, especially under Kevin O'Connell. And if he doesn't develop over Kevin O'Connell, who's he gonna develop under? Like, so I'm gonna give him that. And if in 2 years he doesn't do it, I told y'all he's a bust. He's a bust. And then the one I did get wrong was the Broncos. Okay, I said the Broncos not because they're bad, and obviously they weren't bad. They had fucking top 2 defense this year. But I said I believe I'm not necessarily a fan. Wait, what did I say? Oh, I said, but I think multiple teams are gonna battle for that 6-7 spot. Broncos, Steelers, Bengals, Chargers, and I think Pats and Titans might be the new emergers. Right? So I was wrong about the Bengals, but I did get the Chargers. I think they were the 7th spot. Broncos was obviously second. I said Steelers were the 4th, I believe. Yeah, and then Bengals obviously didn't make it. But and then Titans, I said maybe, but they didn't make it. But then Pats, I said Pats is gonna be in there, 2nd seed. So I was right about wrong. I thought Broncos weren't gonna make it, but obviously 2nd best defense. Argued first. I'm not a big fan of Bo Nix, but he actually did well before he got injured in that. What was the game? Was it in the Buffalo game? The Buffalo game, he did good. So not hating, bro. Not hating. But I was wrong. I was wrong on the Broncos. Sorry about that. Didn't make it all the way to the AFC Championship. And then mid-season prediction, I remember I said Cam Jordan was going to get traded from the Saints. He did not. I don't even know if he's still on the trains. I mean, he shouldn't be because I would have heard about that if he got traded. And people are calling me crazy. I remember they were like, "Oh, you don't know." I was like, well, "I don't know, man. He might get traded." Yeah, he's still on the Saints. Oh, let me show y'all. Yeah, he's still on the Saints. Just cool or whatever, but I thought he would have got traded, to be honest, because the Saints were horrible. They got Tyler Slow though, and they showed improvement, but I didn't see it. But good for him. He's still on there. Good for the Saints fans. And I got that wrong. I thought maybe that was gonna be happening. They had that, that mid-season. I don't think there was a big mid-season trade this year. I remember, or like, oh no, the Sauce Gardner, but that went down. That didn't help with the Colts. So I guess that one, and I can't remember one on top of my head, but that's mostly what I remember. Yeah, that's mostly what I remember. And then new thing, the Super Bowl came out. That was not my prediction, but like just getting off topic, the new Super Bowl logo came out, and it's okay. I mean, I guess people are saying Jaguars, Dolphins, Jaguars, Bears. I don't know. I don't really like this trend thing where it's like we'll see the colors. This was pink and like blue. I didn't see how that went with the Seahawks and the Patriots, but whatever. It's gonna be in LA, Super Bowl 61, and we'll see. Obviously, gonna have my video when the time comes, but this is the end of the NFL season, guys. This is the end of the NFL season. Thank y'all for whoever watched on YouTube or watches here. I appreciate all y'all. It was a great year, like on streaming. Love streaming. So yeah, this is the end of the NFL season. Watch out and have more NBA content as the playoffs, as the All-Star game is gonna happen. I don't know if I'll cover that because if it's really bad, or actually, if it gets a lot of buzz, because it's gonna be USA versus the world, and then I'm pretty sure I am because I just want my reaction and be like, oh, this is blah blah blah. So I'm probably gonna cover that, and then more NBA content with the playoffs gonna come around, more soccer. Because this always happens to me. Like I pay attention to NFL from the fall to February, and then February soccer and basketball, and then the different things that happen. Like there's March Madness in March, obviously. And then, but I mostly just pay attention to soccer and basketball. I watch Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, Serie A, Liga. I mean, all these, right? I watch them, and it's gonna be more content for y'all because I'm watching more in depth than like from the NFL. Because it just happens like that. I feel like for the NBA, it's just the first part of the NBA season before All-Star break. It's just like who cares? Like honestly, like maybe you could call me a casual NBA fan or whatever, but I feel like it just doesn't. I've heard other fans who watch the NFL. It's like, yeah, I watch the games because I just like to watch basketball. But like, do the games really matter? No, because it's like, who cares that the Lakers lost to the Jazz on a Tuesday night in November? Because it's like, what is that going to do? They have a back-to-back the next game. Like, so it's like, what? It really doesn't make any sense. But see, after February, after All-Star break, there's only a few games left. Which seeding you get down because it's like the seedings, the standings, who's gonna be who's gonna go against who's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can play each other in the play-in games like 7, 10. So then it gets more interesting, and then obviously the playoffs is where it matters. Who's gonna win the series, break down the series, everything that. So that's my opinion. And then soccer, basically the same thing because it's a whole year thing. It's so many. I mean, 38 games not a lot, but then again, after February, this is crunch time. This is who's going to win. These are the last few games. Who's going to win the league? With the Champions League, this is playoffs for the Champions League, the knockout stages, and it gets more entertaining, and you just pay more attention to it. But even though I pay attention to soccer the whole year, like I know what's going on. I know Arsenal #1 right now. They were #1 in the Premier League. City just beat Liverpool yesterday to be close between the first spot. And then us and Barca, Real Madrid and Barca right now, we're battling for #1 right now. And then what's the other league? What's the other big league in Europe? It's us, Spain, Premier League, Serie A. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure Serie A. But let's see though. But in the Champions League, obviously and then Bayern's obviously running away with the Bundesliga right now, like they always do. So, and I think they lost for the first time like a few weeks ago. So, we're gonna get more into that. And y'all stay prepared. Okay? Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. See y'all in the next one.